Hey, I'm hoping you can hear me now. Give me a big thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. I think everybody else.
Now we wait 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, we have the delay. We have to wait for people to give 30. Yeah.
Because I don't have visuals on my end for tech reasons, hence the delay. I couldn't see that we were live, so I thought Paul was just saying something was wrong. I just heard "Hey," and I was like, "Oh fuck, what's someone done?"
Yeah. No, I agree. He didn't count down. He just said he was going to count down and then didn't count. So
no, I didn't count at all. No, surprise you.
He just went "Hey," and then it was just on the stream.
It's because I tried to quickly add, I guess, my audio to the stream. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we got instant thumbs up, so it worked.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, Paul.
Ben, improvisations. I thought you were going to leap into song, which you still have time to do, Paul. Just say.
Yeah. No. No.
Nice. Okay, I really thought we were going to get one there.
Completely went blank when you were just like, "You should break out into song." I was just like, I don't know any songs.
I know. For a second, I thought you could do it. So yeah, no.
The only song I can think of doing anything for would be a deep cut that would rarely be gotten by anyone. So it's probably not a good idea.
In the interest of catching up on the time we've lost due to technical issues, welcome to a non-canon episode of Homebrew. We are minus our wonderful DM Ben, as you may have noticed. He is unwell, so he's getting some well-needed rest. We wish him a speedy recovery. In lieu of someone to actually direct this thing, we're doing a live cast Q&A. So we got questions from you guys in our Discord and on Twitter. Ben also has some burning questions that he wanted to know, so that's going to be an interesting form of therapy. So it's going to be a more casual kind of Talking Dead-esque episode today. We're probably going to skip over taking a break tonight in favor of just sort of, I don't know, don't think it warrants it, but if people need to hop out for bio breaks or whatever, we probably will. Then next session we'll be taking a break. And back to that, the plan is to have some guests on. So it's going to be a bit Helter Skelter or Haribo Star Mix sort of episodes as we go into a bit of madness. Quick bit of housekeeping before we get into it. We are powered in partnership with Dakota Irish. You guys may be aware of them at this stage. They make wonderful artesian dice trays and dice towers and dice everything. Really, they make candles now as well. It's everything you need. And if you enter HB Quest in all capitals at checkout, you get a 10% discount. So tell them Homebrew sent you. So it's a different code to what we had before. So HBQUEST. In all caps, if that matters, we'll get you 10% off. So big recommend checking out their stores. They've got loads of really cool stuff there. You may also see a link to our coffee account, ko-fi.com/homebrewquest. That doesn't go to us. That goes straight to a charity native ending direct provision, which is a terrible asylum seeker sort of, I guess you could call it, service in Ireland. Pretty poorly funded. Not poorly funded, poorly managed. Not a great thing altogether. We can talk about that later on because I think that was actually one of the questions we got. So that is our housekeeping. Let's do our standard practice of going around and seeing what everyone's drinking at the table. Paul, what are you drinking? Do you like my Ben tone? That was good. I thought it was pretty good. Paul, tell me about your beer.
So I'm not drinking beer again. I'm drinking I got from Tesco. I also now realize that my camera for Skype is flipped. You're seeing that I'm drinking. I don't know.
No, it's just as.
No, it's the right way around.
It's the right way around.
Okay.
You're just seeing your view is flipped for you. Yeah, but fine for us.
Anyway, so I'm drinking.
I've had that issue.
That's unacceptable, by the way. Loads of different video call things do it differently, and some people think they're inverted or they're not, and why doesn't everyone it should be exactly the way that is. It should be inverted for you so you know right is right and know that what you're seeing is what people are seeing.
It probably should be that you have the choice very easily to choose between the two. That would be the easiest use case. But
I'm also drinking Fireball. Just to bring it back to the beer thing. But yeah, I do get your point there. But yeah, I'm drinking Fireball as well. So and Coke in my.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yep, that's me.
Nice. Lucy, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking some Grolsch. That's the obvious choice. But I was down in Kerry and Cork over the weekend, so I got some of these. I was drawn to it. I'm pretty sure these have already existed, and Ben has surely drank them because there is the Rua version of this, the White Deer. So this is one of their lagers. So I might save the White Deer Rua one for next time. I don't know.
Wait, hang on. I don't know if I misread the label. Are you drinking Grolsch and Kolsch?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Stag Kolsch.
Is like the Stag IPA, and then the other one is like the Rua something. So I might save Rua. I don't think I need to speak to my mother during the Q&A. I will speak for her. So I might save that one.
You heard it here first, everyone. She's going to save Rua.
with our big evil archfey.
But I assume now we can just cast beers on each other.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Just if you want to do it, Lucy, you just throw it at your computer screen. Throw the beer and tell us who you want to hit, and then that'll come out on our end. Be fine.
You're in the splash zone. Excellent.
Yeah.
Violent beer magic. Keelan, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a new sour, a Cool Head Mojito Lemonade Nordic Sour. That's,
Mojito lemonade.
Yeah. So I mean, I took my first sip there at the start of the stream, and I was like, "This is just a lemonade drink." They lied about the mint, and every other sip has been like, "No, there's loads of mint." That's I think the lemon was overpowering it at the start, and now it's just delicious.
I mean, it sounds like like the San Pellegrino fizzy drinks.
Yeah, it's exactly. There is a San Pellegrino which is lemon and mint. Yeah, it's very similar, but in beer form. No, it's lovely. And I've got a bunch of other Cool Heads, but I wanted to keep them for the stream. So, yeah. So I've got that, and I've got a dry hopped Puka lemon sour. It's very lemon based.
Good old White Hag. They won't let you down.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't had that classic just lemon sour in a while. No.
Nice. I'll close it out. I am drinking cans of beer Moretti, because I had several over the weekend in Galway, and it reminded me how much I quite like the stuff. It's very tasty beer.
And it's now everywhere. It's now I'm seeing it more than anything. It's probably my good.
It's the perfect level. Like, it's not very expensive. It's not very cheap, and it's good. It's not incredible. So it's like, I don't want to have cheap. Like, I'm considering in like a pub on like tap and stuff, because on tap it's quite nice, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Come to the dark side, the glorious premium lager side. IP what? IP who? Yeah, just sweet.
Just beer flavored beer, as it was always intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's the water of the drink.
Cool. Okay, so the nature of today's episode, we have questions that we have just to stuff. I'll be honest, a lot of these I have my own bank of questions that I want to ask that could be fun. We have questions from Discord. We have a few questions from Twitter, I believe. Lucy, I think you have some questions from Instagram. So we're just going to mix and match. And what we might do is, if anyone thinks of anything, so I've got some questions here that are kind of like questions you might have for characters, which could be fun, or Lucy, you answering a question about Randir or something like that, which could be interesting. Could be
as awful. As if it's like a documentary and it's a talking head and Iggy's like on a tree stump.
Yeah. That sounds more dramatic. Yeah, like it's kind of like low key The Office, or a Netflix doc.
But to set the scene, because what every documentary does is now, everyone just imagine that first of all it's us like adjusting our shirt and sitting down in the seat and looking as they fix a light, because that gives like that really cool relatable sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you said low key The Office,
what was the name of that award you won recently again, Lucy?
Pardon?
That documentary and wedding photography, wasn't it?
That's not related. Documentary.
It's always documenting.
There'll be some stolen valor to be like, yes, I'm a documentary.
A documentarian.
Documentary wedding photography. Yeah.
Okay. I've also just realized, because Ben said in chat we're playing the Huck Spunks Newlyweds game, and I forgot that's literally what I was describing. Early this morning, I was listening to the Always Sunny podcast where they literally do the Newlyweds game, and I've realized that, much like every DM I have accidentally recycled, and I see it for my own purposes. But I have stuff that's not that style of question as well.
I sorry, I misunderstood what you meant. I didn't get that. That's what you said. Answer it for Randir. Totally misunderstood.
I mean, it's open to interpretation, but again, that was just a couple of questions. Okay. I do have some player-oriented ones that are not the Newlywed Game, but we can get to those. So I want to go around the panel, and I want you to describe your character now compared to your character at the start of the campaign. I realize that's a tighter window for you, Paul, but I think it will be interesting to say what Randir was doing in, somewhere else maybe, or in one of his other campaigns where he may have been quite similar. So we can go in reverse panel order. I think, Keelan, why don't you have a go? Or how much of a difference is there between Huck in episode 1 and Huck in episode 64?
Oh, they're almost entirely different people. For one, Huck was a halfling.
That's very fair.
Huck was a halfling and not a rabbit / puka. He was by a long way more accented. A very bad Scottish Irish. I'm glad that you haven't noticed. I've been very slowly phasing it out because of my inability to do any of the accent work that was necessary, and I had absolutely chosen the wrong thing. So he sounds different, he looks different, and he is acting slightly different, but he's still got the core friendship thing going on. So in one way he's exactly the same, or maybe he's realized I do kind of miss being a halfling, but
I mean, you still get luck, the best part of being a halfling.
Yeah, that's among the best parts of being a halfling. Being a halfling in and of itself is the best part of being a halfling. I've been currying a big halfling lore on my own back against counter to anything that Ben's been doing. I've just been inventing a lot of halfling lore, and it's been very fun.
Have you intentionally been pulling back on Huck wanting to make friends with everyone, or is that kind of like?
No, I haven't been intentionally pulling it out. It's within the frame of our story. It's not really. We're not meeting as many new people, I guess. I don't know. It's always a core of what Huck is doing, but I guess it's just been, I don't know. There has been a kind of change in play. It's interesting that you say that. I feel like Huck's changed a lot since he was a puka. I got a certain amount of license to, I guess, slightly change the character, which I guess maybe everyone else didn't get to by completely racially changing who they were. So
I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I've got like 5 characters in this campaign.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just keep adding new personalities. So we all kind of just do that. It's a good way to play, actually. You hold on to your old RP that you thought was going to work, and you think it's like a first season of a TV show, I guess.
After we got to like do some focus group testing.
Yeah, it's like you watch it, and you're like, those characters aren't like that when you go back to the rewatch any show, you're like, there's so much more together, there's less jokes, there's so
I suppose to continue with the comparison I made, Always Sunny is a really good example. If you watch season 1 of Always Sunny versus like the latest one, it's a different show.
Yeah, they're actually relatively normal people at the start. I mean, they're bad, but they're kind of believable, whereas now it's now it's gone excellently the wrong way. So I think Huck's had the biggest change from start to finish. But you're right, you've 5 personalities, and Rian's gone, so that's quite a big change. And then
the halfling dynamic switched.
Yeah, who knew that we were going to get rid of all halflings over the course of the show? It was too halfling heavy at the top. It's now got no halflings at all.
That was a lot of feedback from the focus group.
Yeah. Turns out Ben hates halflings. That's a little insider tip. Famously, his least favorite race.
Lucy, what about Iggy? What do you think the difference is between Iggy between episode 1 and episode 64?
It's hard to answer it as like without just kind of critiquing myself. Iggy was the first character I've ever made in D&D. I've never played D&D before. Never played anything like this. And so I fell into the exact trap that apparently everyone does, which is creating a character not very different from yourself, or like not really knowing how to not play yourself. So at the beginning was similar to how she is now, because I find it hard to separate them. But like, she's she was very kind of a bit like ditzy and naive about the world and scared because she was like fish out of water. And I think that was actually just because I hadn't played this game before. And the first time Ben was like, "There's pirates there. There's not pirates there." I genuinely was like, "Run away from the pirate!" Like, no concept of like, yeah, does she? What's her backstory? Which obviously is what you're supposed to do. So I can't really I don't know. She's a mess in the beginning in the sense.
Run away is a great response to pirates, not pirates.
But like, that's also what she might have done. But my genuine feeling at the beginning is when he would describe danger is like all I could feel emotionally was like what I would do in this situation. So yeah, I see now. I'm like, I would do it differently, and like having characters where you kind of know how they will react to different things. Anyway,
I mean, you're learning how the game works. Do you reckon? Okay, so if episode 1 Iggy was very would avoid danger at all costs or all that kind of thing, and now in a situation where she's going to confront her mother, the archfey who's destroying the world, like as in, do you reckon she's going to deal with that situation differently than she would have at the start of the campaign?
Yeah, at the beginning, she had left because she had to, because people, for what she knew, people were dying, and if she stayed, more would die, and she had to leave with this general sense of, well, I have to try and fix that, but I don't know what to do. And when the first time she found information about it, they were like, yeah, no one can defeat a demon. You can't do that. You need incredible power. This is an insurmountable task. And all this other stuff happened. So it all just seemed like impossible. And right now, she's standing in episode, whichever number we're on, 63, what'd you say?
So we've got 64 in the can, 65 is next.
And she literally defeated her demon. So yeah, the whole Ruiz situation is interesting, but I think she feels that, I mean, she's powerful. She knows, and she's bolstered by this very handy crew that she can storm into a room and then hide behind Arlington. Probably.
I mean, it's funny you say that. You were like, you would have made the character differently, and you made a quote mistake about making the character. I'd say Iggy probably has the most rounded character arc of the whole cast, really, in that regard. Like, as in, was scared, overcame fear, now stronger for it, kind of thing.
There you go. Truth based in reality. That's good, I guess. Fiction. I don't know. No, truth is strange in fiction. That doesn't make sense. No, but yeah, as in like that is what happened. Yeah. So yeah, she's totally different in that sense. But I think I still didn't create a character that nuanced that I'm like, she's still a bit like just naive and optimistic and friendly and all of those things.
You always end up making yourself as your first character, whether you want or the aspects of yourself that you like as your first character.
Yeah. Or that you can't suppress. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to roleplay.
This is what I've heard, is that I basically just did exactly what everyone does in their first character. So yeah.
If you're worried about metaplay at all, which you generally aren't at the start, then it's just easier to be yourself. But at the same, cautionary word: don't run to the opposite end of the spectrum with the secondary character. That's much worse as a mistake.
Yeah, you also still want to have fun while playing.
They can't just be like the entire day. It's like, oh, this person's so not like me, and then it just becomes a pain to think like them, or
Yeah, I'm kind of like no regrets. I love Iggy and I love playing it, and it's made it so fun because I really do just feel like I'm on the pirate ship.
Yeah, you're basically just getting nice art of yourself.
I've enjoyed playing with other people and seeing how I see how you can create things in your character that tell you how to react to things in a way that can still feel natural. So anyway, I'm looking forward to playing others.
Yeah, something I learned a while ago that I always forget when I'm making characters is like, give your character one thing they're afraid of and one thing they're obsessed with, and then you can like make all those decisions really easily. Like, as in, you don't need pages and pages of backstory. It's like, for Huck, like, he loves making friends and he's terrified of other halflings, so he needs to make friends and then murder Rian.
Yeah, I mean, look, it worked out quite well, hasn't it? So,
Paul, bit of a different version of the question for you, I guess. You usually play the same character in different campaigns, right?
No, it's more the fact is that it's just so I don't have to make.
The names are the hardest part.
No, it's because I wanted to do a campaign myself, which is actually suggested in one of the questions, which a campaign where essentially that one Randir who wants to meet. So the lore is that all Randirs know the fact that there's other Randirs out there, but they cross any. to know each other, except for one of them. One of them, the dementia. Randirs. The idea was essentially that the camp evolve around this one Randir essentially, and having the characters essentially clean up his mess, making him the bad guy essentially, but kind of non kind of thing. It's like you need to catch up to this character and stop him from jumping around. Walked up. That was the idea. It has never come to fruition. But so yeah, it's yeah. So Randir is just a character that they have, but it never in no way comes in handy. This is the first campaign that's this has come in any kind of way involved in the main story, you know.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: what episode did Randir join the group?
An excellent question. Because I'm trying to think, because I can't just go back by weeks.
35.
I think it's in the 40s.
41.
Wait, what did you say? Did you say 35?
Yeah,
35.
I don't think it's halfway through. I think you're 46.
It's not halfway through.
It's 40.
40. Yeah, damn it, that was my first thought, and I thought scale it back, bring it.
Yeah.
It's always usually earlier than I think.
I would have thought later for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it's from my perspective, it's interesting.
There's Paul. I think we're getting audio cutting in and out for you. I don't know if it's the noise cancellation or what, but
here, hang on. Just
so while you're trying to fix that,
let me just.
Yeah, you work away there, because there's no point in you describing what you're doing if the audio is cutting out. I misunderstood the initial premise of Multiverse Randir, because I thought it was just Paul playing in multiple games and always playing the literal exact same character. And then when I found out there were multiple Randirs in the campaigns or whatever, I was like, that's a cool idea, but it feels wasted if they're all the same guy. And then I found out I was like, no, it's just a name, and they look like Paul.
I've played more games with other Randirs. I can, I can give a peek behind the veil. They're not the same.
They're not all like brewers with Keggy.
No. In fact, Keggy's unique. Yeah, and the brewing is relatively unique. The other Randir is that I've played with is relatively similar in. Is it also the same class? But
aren't they always dwarves? Don't you always play a dwarf?
He always plays a dwarf. That's. I mean, yeah, but I guess that's not contingent on the Randir thing. That's just Paul's own preference.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, my thing is that I just enjoy. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with my. Hoping people can hear me right now. But yeah,
we'll tell you in 30 seconds.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that. Each Randir has been different, except for I think Randir in Homebrew to Randir in my current running game is probably the longest or the closest that they've been. I've kind of used them to kind of go through every class myself. I've played every class as a dwarf. Or like not that's a bit bold. I played all the starting normal classes. And a couple of unique ones like the Terra Lords and stuff like that. They're a couple of unique ones from 3.5. So it's been just I know everything to do with the dwarves, their racial traits and everything from most of the two kind of things. So I've just decided to choose them. But to answer your question, how he's different from now or from when he started to then, it's not. Yeah, it's been weird in a kind of development of I made him to be a little bit more serious than I probably should have, and he's had to back out from that a little bit, as in he had to kind of grow a humor bone a little bit more, because his whole background is essentially that one of the biggest moments in his life was him and a couple of others got in the cave in, and he essentially just was just like, I will die if it means that the others can live. And I was just like, that's a bit serious for this game. So So yeah, I made in the cave-in to make a joke about it. I made the cave-in brewing company and a couple of other things as well. And yeah, he's had to lighten up a bit. But I also realized that the group needs a little bit of kind of, I guess, extra plain-old intelligence. So I've had to step in
the group's very charismatic and strong, but not smart.
Yeah, no one for smarts.
So yeah, so he steps into that role. But I guess so this is the hardest thing. Jumping into a pre-existing campaign with already established and growing characters with a new character, that was the most difficult thing I've ever experienced, especially on. That was the most difficult thing because I'm still learning this Randir, whereas you guys have been playing for about 2 years before.
Yeah,
that's been a big jump.
Yeah, you were
familiar with the characters, but not how that character fit in or whatever. Yeah,
like I don't have the history with you guys.
It's like we've been playing an MMO or something for a long time, and we've convinced you to join us. We're like, you just join us, and you'll get all the experience from being in our party. And you're like, I'm just level 20.
To be fair, if anyone's carrying this group, it's Randir.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The analogy falls down in many ways, but not least to the fact that I've never played an MMO to any kind of proper extent to be referencing it.
I guess more personality wise, like the skill sets and stuff like that kind of. When I did make the character that I was feeling a need,
That's I guess that's one thing. Like if to compare Arlington between when we started and when we are now, I don't know that he's wildly different. There's elements that I've definitely leaned into more, and there's definitely stuff I would have, like you said, I would have done differently from the start, because like I was conscious of going into this thing that we were all going to play comic relief characters, and I was like, that's exhausting. Like you can't do that. But the moments that I've had the most fun with Arlington were when he was being funny but unintentionally or whatever. So when it started out initially, I liked the idea of like big gentle giant kind of thing, which I guess he still is. And then I liked the idea of using rage as, it sounds poncy to say, but kind of like masculine lack of understanding emotion or whatever. So when he rages, it's him literally not knowing how to be angry healthily or whatever. And it's kind of just become this thing of me just alternating between two characters. I'm like, this isn't really interesting, or not that it's trying to say something, but as in like it's not. I think I had a clever idea but didn't think through of it actually mechanically in the game. I'm like, this is a one thing to like, initially everyone thought he was a half orc, and then there was the reveal of him being a bugbear. I'm like, all right, that's good for one reveal. And then it's not something we're actively trying to like. He doesn't even wear a hood up anymore. Kind of.
How long did that last? Iggy.
It was like 3 episodes.
Iggy got you to.
It wasn't even on stream, was it?
No, he was like lying naked on like a tree stump or something.
That's true. You were talking about something that all happened pre-stream, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By the time we'd started streaming, we'd figured out you were a bugbear.
Yeah, I was very happy with the way it was revealed, but it was very like once that's happened, it's like, all right, that's that gimmick done. It's like, well, that doesn't really have longevity. Like it's not that interesting. Whereas I like the idea of it being wrestling with monstrous tendencies or whatever, and then when we find other bugbears, we're like, no, it's just where you grew up that they're monsters. They're actually regular members of society. You've got your own internal prejudices. But I think if I were to start Arlington from scratch now, I don't know, I'd do something different with the dual personality, I guess, but also I have a tendency when making characters to accidentally lean into serious, more kind of like what you were saying, Paul, about the caves and all that kind of stuff, because I think inherently you enjoy drama, and you're like, but it's not a drama podcast. It's a comedy show with bits of drama or whatever. So like my favorite character thing ever is the discovery that Arlington is a virgin, and every time that's come up, it's been really like, what was it, like the first time it was like, someone of pure of heart needs to get through here, and we were like, right, who here is a virgin? Definitely not the fucking bard, definitely not the fucking sea shanty rogue.
It was because Ben wrote something in some kind of like elvish dwarven script.
We misread it as virgin,
and we were like, we don't know this language, but it looks like virgin. So let's just run with that. Yeah,
it was like runes or something. We were like, that says virgin.
This is also off stream, isn't it?
Yeah, that was off stream as well. So maybe our best moments were when we didn't do any
we did like 4 episodes off stream.
As we were getting the world up and running, and
we were talking about characters at their beginning, so it makes sense that we're always talking about when we first made them. Yeah.
Just for everyone, in case we never mentioned it, the reason Arlington was pretending to be a half orc and covering himself all the time, and then I think we went to sleep in.
Was that not on stream? Was the reveal not on stream?
No,
it may have been. We were certainly still in the house. No, because
wow, that's even worse than I thought. If there
was the first time. I think it's the first time we were right there. Yeah, that Iggy essentially. We woke up in the farm place, and then Iggy, Arlington was sleeping outside. Iggy got excited and ran outside to say something to Arlington, pull the blanket from him, and he hadn't thought about anyone waking up before him. So it was a very easy. It was great. It was the most Iggy thing you could have done. Really,
first
immediately revealed.
I don't think I did a.
Maybe you just burst into the bar, and maybe it was sufficient. That's my memory of it now.
It was very fitting in character. Like I said, I'm happy with how the reveal happened. It's just I wish I thought of something that's a bit more. That was all I'd got for Ant as a character. I'm like, oh, he tries to pass as this or whatever, and he's got this duality of rage. I'm like, okay, but like I said, wanting to know what they're afraid of and what they're obsessed with. I didn't have any of that shit.
Well, luckily you got and Arlington lots more characters.
Yeah. Any personality you want to go into, you can.
Well, even it's funny actually now thinking about it. The most drive my character has had now is when I threw my fucking axe away.
Yeah.
And now I'm so often trying to summon the axe, or that is now what Arlington will do, or he will do anything for. I'm like, that's character drive, and it's an item I got rid of because of a stupid thing I tried to do. I'm like, oh, he's got drive now. Like when spoilers for the last episode, I won't describe it in detail, but when we saw the scratches on the wall, the reveal of that, I was like, that's fucking cool. But it's because I cared about getting the item back, and Arlington cared about getting his weapon back or whatever. So I don't know. It gave a throwaway sort of thing a bit of weight, and I don't know, reality grounds it because you want something and people want
throwaway thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's go into one of the audience questions.
There's actually one thing. One thing that has changed for Randir is the fact that he no longer he has minimized the amount of selling he has tried to do in the recent last couple of episodes. That is one thing I have noticed that I've lessened, which I should probably get back to.
Was that intentional, or do you want to?
I think the storyline is kind of warranted for me not to interrupt constantly and just be like, yeah, but do you want beer? Kind of thing. So I did lessen that. I think it's an unconscious kind of thing. I'm also kind of cheekily checking my audio. But yeah,
I think you're clear.
You have some more
they
questions?
gave you some thumbs up and stuff at the 30-second mark. Sorry, I thought the chat did confirm that it got better. So
so Isaac asks, if you can't save the world, how would you spend your last few hours? If you do save the world, what's the drink you'll toast each other with? Which I think is a good question.
Yeah.
So let's go move back around the other way. Keelan, what would Huck do if we found out we couldn't save the world? What would he do with his final hours?
I mean, I think at this stage he'd try to save the world. I mean, even if it was impossible, he'd probably end up getting into a fight. I mean, I'd like to say, a nice sit around with friends in a kind of campfire setting or whatever else, or going back to the Fae. But I imagine he wouldn't accept that it's impossible at this stage. That's fundamentally what Huck would be like. So if it became impossible, it's like you can't kill her or whatever else like that. I imagine he'd just charge at her and die. So hopefully we can do some damage, because otherwise Huck's dying. I guess.
What drink would Huck toast with if we do save the world?
I mean, it'll definitely be a sour, won't it? I mean, it's got to be. There's been so many drinks.
That's a Keelan thing. What would Huck drink?
Well, he likes sours. No, he probably likes things that are sickeningly sweet, to be honest.
Well, that is fitting, actually. Yeah.
A honey-based drink. It'd definitely be whiskey, actually. So some kind of delicious whiskey that's been aged in an old Fae tree for 100 years or something like that. Something like proper. It's the whiskey that I've stolen from my dad.
Would Huck try and get back to the snug, the sunken snug?
Yeah, that was a nice place. I enjoyed that.
Hang out with the tree.
Yeah, exactly. One last. That's if Huck wasn't going to run to death, the one person who most needed a friend for any period of time. a guy who lives in.
That's lovely. I
That's
really like that.
Maximum place. He'd go there to get the maximum friendship giving.
Plus, it's a place where he's not going to leave, so he has to be your friend.
Being underground might actually be a good way of saving ourselves. I mean, we know the planes are going to shift and anyone like caught up in that is going to die. But if I'm underground and the ground stays basically the same, oh no, there has to be a hole in the Feywild or in the same place. Otherwise, I'd just fill with land and die. Damn. Well,
I think in this scenario, it's a given that the end is the end and we die.
Well, I don't know about a given, but yeah.
Paul, what about Randir? What does Randir do with his final hours, and what's?
So I guess this is easy. It's essentially just Dying Light Ale twice. Like if if the world's going to end, he's going to toast with Dying Light Ale. If it's going to survive, it's going to be Dying Light Ale. I think, but as a brewer, I think he'll probably make as many drinks as many different things from the ingredients he's gotten and kind of share it out to the group.
I was going to say, are they all just for him or is he sharing?
Oh yeah, no sharing it. Like by the end of the world, everybody will like Dying Light Ale. But
are you like stockpiling a lot of beers so that if someone does survive the end of the world, they'll have been aged barrels of beer.
I'd say is Randir like he's keeping a tab just in case the world doesn't actually end.
Yeah.
But
is
also
he paying his cousin back?
No, he'll never pay that. I think he's become he's trying to become the one of the champions of death and destiny, just so he doesn't have to ever pay that guy back. It's a good way of skinting off it. I do find it interesting because me and or Randir and Huck have already survived the end of the world in that one shot that sadly got missed. That was an interesting one. Yeah.
Wait, which one shot?
There's a one shot where we did with which goes what was the character name? God's sake.
Yeah,
was I there for this?
No,
I think this is because you weren't around. We did a what if
we did essentially
future universe trying to we've dealt with Christ, I should have thought about that. We've dealt with what Huck would do if it was impossible or if they failed.
Which is essentially essentially try to save the world. You were right. You were essentially convinced.
True. That's a slightly modified Huck. But I guess I think I tried to make him grizzled. No, my plan for him was grizzled and suicidal. And I again, too serious for a show possibly, but also I just failed massively, I think, to portray any of that. He's more that was a more grizzled Huck.
Yeah,
he had a beard.
It was episode 52, Tides of Chaos. It was lost.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, we lost it.
I do think it was because we referenced What If and Marvel too many times in that episode. Disney we did a lot, and I did mention in the episode that Disney will take us down.
Yeah, the House of Mouse does not abide.
Was that the episode that was taken down?
Yeah, we lost it. Yeah, because it's like it jumps around a good bit, and we tried to like stitch it together, and it's
good.
Yeah. I think we managed to. God, did we get even audio out of it? There's a couple one we lost completely, and one that had to take a lot of work to like stitch together for it still to make sense. I think that might be the last pod that went up, because the annoying thing is it'll lag on YouTube, and then when you download the audio, or download the MP4 to convert it into a podcast. I promise this won't get too technical and boring, but I don't know if anyone's familiar. When you see like waveforms of like audio, when there's a dip, it goes flat, which means there's no sound, and audio closes that gap for you, so you can't find the gaps. And because our visuals don't change too much, you can't see when it cuts out. So you really have to play it out, and even then you could miss a lag, and then it's people tripping over themselves, and it's incredibly messy.
Wes's problem is that he has to actually watch a second time around if those episodes occur.
Yeah, I just don't like listening to
just to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, that's Randir's thing is just Dying Light Ale because it's his drink of choice, and Dying Light Ale, and he would also probably supply as many different beers as possibly could to as many people.
Nice.
For both. So
Lucy, what about Ignatius O'Flaherty? What would she do for her final hours?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think if
also presumably this is at the hands of Rua, so
yeah,
I feel like that would affect Iggy most of all.
similar to Huck, I think Iggy plans on really trying, to just throw everything at ruin. Not that I'm trying to stop her plans.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better not be planning to do anything.
I'm not trying to stop her plans. I'm trying to make her see new plans. That's not trying to stop her plans.
Yeah.
So I do feel strongly about that. But I guess, if everything is doomed, I think Iggy would go back to Aragla. She'd find her old mate, I think Kieran, and then probably go hang out in the ravine.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's no longer, I guess, the place of terror. It's sort of,
Still rife for like a Stand By Me moment though. Like the two of you walking along this like river and just finding like a dead body and poking it.
Yeah, like it is also, I guess, still like a graveyard of many, many villagers that we did not save. We just saved their souls. Anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely still loads of dead people there.
But I'm not really sure how this all works in terms of planes and my abilities to go between them. Like, can we try and take people with us into other planes? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
We should kick the tires in this thing. Start giving Ben some stuff to work with. What drink would Iggy toast victory to if she saved the world?
I couldn't think of the other question. I'm trying to think of times that Iggy has drank, and the most disappointing moment in this entire campaign for Iggy. Ben thinks I'm going to say porter. No, it's back when we were in the spa in Driecht, and we were given champagne, and given champagne or wherever champagne is from in this, and it was like so exciting. This was so luxurious. I was scribbling pictures of everything to show my dad, and we tasted it, and it tasted like ash because we tasted some thing. So I think Iggy would be trying to get her hands on some of that stuff to get to actually taste it this time and toast it.
Nice, that's good. I like that. Ben is saying in chat that character's name is not Kieran, it's Cunnel.
I thought Kieran was wrong, and I was like, I don't want to correct her though.
I like both, and I like that.
The way that I wrote it is, it says father, and it kind of gestures to Connell, but I think it was the other way around. Yeah, sorry, it was Connell.
I like the idea of this guy introducing himself like years ago, being like, "Oh, your name's Iggy, my name's Kieran," and then Iggy going, "You say Connell?" And he said, "Yeah."
The longest running embarrassing asking for questions.
Yeah. It's like, you came back. Oh, Connell, it's good to see you. Oh, right, I forgot she got my name wrong. It's definitely been too long to correct her now.
Yeah, that was, hopefully Iggy remembers, and that was just a Lucy issue. Yeah.
Yeah, you can roll for it anyway, so there's still a chance.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what Arlington would do with his final hours. I think he'd definitely spend it with Tig. He'd do something nice with Tig. I think he'd like, I'm trying to think of like traveling around and doing something, but it's, hours, not days. I think he'd just father-son time. Maybe he'd go back to the village he grew up in and either try and like befriend them and bury the hatchet, or just like break some wrists, because with multiple personalities, he could like go up to like the kid who bullied him and like be like, "Oh, I think we should, we've all come a long way. We're not the people we were in the past." And then he'd say something about his, broken tusk, and then he'd just punch him in the sternum and just double him over. Yeah, I think he'd just hang out in his hometown, maybe read books with Tig, read Tig a bedtime story, like roles reversed.
Read him a bedtime story really early, put him to sleep really early, and then go out and roam the streets and attack people.
The Jekyll and Hyde situation. Like comes back, covered in blood. He's like, "Oh, father, you've awoken."
What a lovely father-son moment we've had.
And I think the drink Arlington would toast with would be a pint of porter, because he had never heard of it before recent events. And he just thinks it's beer, and now he thinks it's like a classy thing to drink because he thinks it's what smart people drink, because he'd never heard of it before. And he would hate it. He would hate the taste of it because he's just not used to it, but he like wants to be seen as a classy man because he's tried sherry before, and he's like, it's too sweet for him. But he does like how small it is in his hand, the little glass. I actually kind of like the idea of him drinking sherry, but no, we'll go with porter.
Nice.
Lucy, do you have a question from Instagram or anything?
Yeah, let me have a look. Let's see. I have got right here. Okay. There's 2 questions at the beginning, which we might have answered before on something, but this is what the point of the Q&A is. This is Anya Caulfield, and she asks, how did you get into D&D, and how do you all know each other? Which is the case that Ben put up an ad on Craigslist in the Ben seeking D&D players section, and he told us all
man seeks friends.
Well, I could say so Ben obviously put this ragtag team together, and we are all lucky to know Ben since he was but a teenager in different capacities. I met him when I was 14 or so. He also had an 085 number, which you can understand makes us friends.
So many friendships started that way.
A group of people approached, and it was that kind of time when you were a teenager, you'd be like, are you 85? Are you 85? Are you 85? And then you'd just swap numbers and everyone would text each other.
For our non-Irish people, do you want to explain your reference?
Yeah.
085.
Sorry. 085 was a phone network that had free texting to everyone, as many texts as you want. So your own little phone, like this is pre-iPhone, and you could just text endlessly. So you're just looking for whoever you could.
Provided it was also an 085 number. That's the other thing. Not just free. Unlimited text would have been like a great service.
It would have been insane. But yeah. So,
when everyone you knew got 085 and you only spoke to people that you met in the street that were 085.
Wasn't it Meteor? Wasn't that the network number?
Yeah.
Or network company? Meteor,
Yeah. Anyway, so that's loosely how. And then we similarly, I went to school with Keelan. And so I met Wes then through Ben, and I knew Paul from the same crowd of youngsters in Greystowns.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I only knew Ben going into this. I didn't realize I knew Paul going into it, but I knew Paul from a while back. But when we were first getting set up, Ben had come back from living in Canada for a couple of years, and I went to school with Ben, but I was the year ahead, and we weren't especially close. We'd we knew each other. We'd played in like Battle of the Band stuff together, but didn't know each other amazingly well. And he'd seen that I'd been getting into D&D and posting about it. And we met for a pint. He was like, I'm just back in the country. I have this idea for a show or whatever. And then we decided to get set up. And then initially we didn't have a dedicated tech producer. So it was just myself, Keelan, Lucy, and Gav at the time. So I didn't know the 3 others. And I was like, this is fine. I'll play with strangers. I don't really care. So those 3 people I knew through the show, which is nice. And then he was like, we're going to meet up with my mate Paul, who's offered to do tech for this kind of thing. And then Paul came out of the bathroom, and I did like a second. I was like, it's nice to meet. I know you, don't I? And it turns out we'd been in like Scouts years before.
St. Patrick's. That's where we were.
Oh yes, it was even before Scouts. Jesus,
it was in
primary school.
Yeah, primary school together. Yeah. That was the interesting thing when because he was like, you're going to meet Wes. And I was like, Wes Evans? And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, I went to school with him. And that was,
but I didn't recognize you at all for like the first 2 or 3 seconds, and then recognize you instantly, because I was like, beard only changes so much.
Yeah. Yeah. True. That was a fun, meet.
Yeah.
Ben told me Keelan. So I met Lucy through friends, and then the extension through Keelan. Ben through that group, actually, I was approached I was approached by essentially, do you have some Ben's of course ways of getting people to join in? Do you have any ideas of how to do this tech wise? I was just like, you could just do it. It's better if I just joined. Instead of trying to explain it, stuff to him. Because he approached me at one of our parties, and he was an interesting. D&D actually, with Ben as well, and a couple of other mates. We decided to join in. I'd played it previously with a couple of other friends as well, but we started on 3 and 3.5, and then kind of changed from there. I played most now. For 1, I really want to try 1. Absolutely.
Is 1 the one that has the Thak 0 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
I picked up Baldur's Gate a couple of months ago, and it has that system, and it bent my brain trying to figure it out. It's so unintuitive. Once you get used to it, it's fine, but initially it's like, What? So you want to be higher than 0 in some situations and lower in others? It's weird.
Yeah, there's a combination kind of system there, because 2 was like also very complex, but it was just like, we have a skill for everything and you need to stick to these skills. And 3.5 were just like, we're grouping them together because it's a little bit easier. And 4 was just like, we group them even further so you don't have anything. So that's how I got into D. Constantly through friends and nerdism.
I suppose actually I did mention that in my answer. I suppose I'd only gotten into D&D a year, maybe more, before Ben Avengers initiatives everything. But I very much got into it because of the likes of Critical Role, hence the interest in the show. But I remember I got into it because I was working as a video editing intern at a place and doing kind of like not mind-numbing, but sort of not super engaging work, which is fine. But I just put Critical Role up on the other screen, so you'd have that in the background. So it was like a podcast you could check in on every so often while you were working, which is great. And I got through like the first 30 episodes of the first campaign that way, and then tried to learn how to play, and then found the resistance that everyone finds when they're trying to get into the game. Be like, you need someone to run the game, and no one wants to run the game. So I played 2, maybe 3 quick games as a player, and then afterwards ended up just launching into a full homebrewed campaign with like 7 mates. So it was a trial by fire, and everything's been not downhill since then, but easier because I didn't know how to play, and I was creating an entire world with 7 people, but there were 7 people I knew well. So there was my home campaign, and then this is far and away the longest running thing, because we're nearly 3 years now. Are we 3 years?
Something like that.
Yeah, right.
I think we hit 3 years. So like, that's the most I've played of any D&D thing, which is wild.
And then
you're the oldest player, are you?
No, well, I guess Paul probably played more than I did at the time. But when we originally started and Paul wasn't part of the crew, I was the one that had played the most. Yeah, so I mean, well, everyone's kind of gone over how they met me, so it's weird to have it from my end. I went to school with Lucy, and then through Lucy and a competition called the One Act, I met Ben, who was doing a play from him being in another school. So he briefly came to our school just to do a play. I say a play, one act. You're just Ben pouncing around on a stage, really, with one other person. And
it sounds like a band show, which I don't know.
The musical numbers at the top of the show make so much more sense now.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a big one act. And then let's see. And then through Lucy and school as well, I eventually got to know Paul through another kind of cross school event thing, and just continued to form them as a group of friends. I've known them since secondary school. So let's say 16 onwards, not to put any kind of specific class grade or anything else on it, not to confuse. From year 16, wherever you would appropriately be schooled and whatever level of schooling you'd be in, that onwards, I've known these. And then Wes for the first time when we first started to do this. And then starting playing D&D, it was so Paul had started with Ben and another mate of ours, as far as I know, and that other, and they bought books together. I think they all pitched in to buy the books as the easiest way of getting all of the D&D books and everything else like that. And that other member ran a D&D session that had been going for a while. And at some point in time, I figured I'd just have a blast. A lot of friends were in it, and it's a great way of knowing how D&D generally went. It's very difficult to get anyone to come and agree to arrive at the right time, even actually agree on any particular day. It was months between any particular session, but I got into it, and it was fun to kind of join in. Ben was playing in that one as well at the time. We ran that for a couple of years, and then when Ben moved to Canada and some other people moved away and stuff like that, that just kind of fizzled, and we've set up a smaller group, and I've been playing D&D 3.5 for years now in that particular session. We're actually like 4 or 5 years, however long, even longer now, however long into it, we've only just now discovered the storyline. Because in the very start of our session, we set fire to all of the clues that would have led us down his preordained storyline for the thing where we should go. So we spent 5 years. We went, well, now we're just going that way, and just continuously didn't do anything that we were meant to doing. And we've only just discovered it now. We're like, what? Look at all this. There's like a fully fledged story and path and things for us to do. And it's taken us like 10 years to even approach. Don't set fire to books, even by accident.
Yeah, it was just a bookshelf, and we were fighting a gnome necromancer.
It was a halfling. It was a halfling.
Oh.
Yeah.
People hate halflings. Yeah, and then someone that sent we threw alchemy fire, which seems to be a traditional thing now, which we throw alchemy fire, and also constantly joke about burning books. We finished a fight.
For anyone who doesn't know, alchemist fire is basically a Molotov cocktail or something like that. It's just like an oil in a glass that you throw at people and it explodes. Just a firebomb. Very cheap and easy to do at the start when you can't cast spells or do anything.
That tracks, Keelan, that's something that you're drawn to. Mm-hmm. Maybe brings on to one other question that might tie in with ones that Wes has as well is, another Instagram question was, what is your favorite moment that happened on stream or off stream? I assume off stream, still related to Homebrew. No personal goals here, people. Okay.
My favorite
favorite moments on stream or in character or anything. I don't know if Wes, if you have a similar one.
On stream, favorite moment. I mean, one of the hardest and most I've laughed in this campaign was the interaction with Quail when he asked her what sex was like, when he saw her kissing a Merid and thought that was sex. Yeah. I just thought that was really good, like childlike innocence. And then like Quail's Orla Nidul's reaction was just like absolute like dumbstruck. She was like, "Is this guy serious?" And there's this, if you watch the stream, I forget which episode it is now, but it was back in meat space. There's this look on her face, and it's kind of like for a second, it's the character being like, "This is crazy," and then also, it was the first time I'd met Orla, so she was also kind of like, "Are you fucking stupid?" Like, there's a little bit of the real person being like, "You can't be fucking serious, can you?" I enjoy that. That was one of my favorite bits.
We were like, "No, this is canon. He is a virgin."
Mm-hmm. It's a recurring thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I'm trying to. There's probably something else as well. We've had some good times. I did also enjoy.
You meant
actually, I have a good one for off stream because it happened during a live stream, but I wasn't there. I think I was away with work or something, but it was recently enough when Randir and Sarah Susie kind of hit it off.
Oh yeah.
And I was watching it live, and me, the person Wes, groaned, being like, "Oh no, don't fall in love with Sarah Susie. I fucking hate her." And I was like, it's a fictional person that your friend puts a voice on for. You don't actually hate this person. She hasn't done anything to you. But I was like, no, Arlington will have to just fucking hate me. Yeah, they actually affected me in the real world.
That's good. That's good to know. We're getting through it. You reminded me earlier of a part that I enjoyed, which was the Sunken Snug episode, which was episode 9, I believe. And when I used one of my I think is it a cantrip message, and I basically figured out how message works, but in a very stupid way, in which I was like casting message to pull on a thing, and then using the message to say like pull the rope 2 times if you agree, and it was like I did not. You all saw what I was doing wrong. I want to say so far before I did. I was like, why are they laughing? Okay, pull twice, and I just one of those like spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Keelan, do you have anything that come to mind?
It's hard to say. I mean, I feel bad. One of my favorite characters to play and or do anything was Stabby Gabby, the talking sword. Who wanted everyone to die.
I got to enjoy that as an observer as well. It's always weird to watch because I never get to watch the full thing. I think that's why it's so funny, because if I'm ever not on stream, it's because I'm not around, so I only catch like half of it at best. So I'll usually come in a bit late, and then you were describing your character Stabby Gabby. I'm like, what is the setting for this? What the fuck is happening?
I wasn't exactly saying it was a sword. So that was the most fun. I mean, it was completely freeing. I knew the character very well because it was a very simple character. But then again, that was something that I did, which feels a bit hard to very me for people who don't know me very well. Which
I was going to say
everyone else very me to pick something that I did as something that I thought was the best. But
that's actually episode 41, by the way. I think.
Oh, nice! There you go. Look at this
because that was a fun one. Yeah.
No, but there was some other good bits. I loved that was going to be one of the things that I picked when Arlington got the book and asked about sex is.
Oh yeah, she gave me a book to reference for sex.
Oh,
Yeah, which is good. There's so many moments that were
Lindsay's
fun.
mentioned in chat. I'll see if anyone can remember the context. But Lindsay says Boy Blade.
Boy Blade.
Does anyone remember Boy Blade?
I can't remember.
It was the canal heist episode. I think it was. No, it wasn't when Rian was in the party, but someone was spun around with swords or something. I can't remember the specific context, but I remember Boy Blade was said, and I wet myself laughing.
Yeah, I have a vague memory of it, but yeah, was that in when we were fighting all the guards in like when we got called in and then we were in the center of loads of guards? That was in the elf place.
I'm trying. It could have been the elf place, or it could have also been the. It could have been in Osteria as well, but I don't think it was that recent.
No,
I just remember the term Boy Blade and being like, "That is absolutely genius."
I don't think it was when Randir was written. So
other good moments, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about a favorite moment. One moment that I remember I particularly enjoyed anyway was a moment between what was his name? Cormac Connell. Him with just because Ben and Lucy are quite good friends. Their little flirty, awkward exchange
that was really good.
Was just really, really well done. I was actually just watching it, which I rarely do with the show. So that I think was one of my more preferred moments.
Actually, just to focus in on that sort of era of episodes, there was some interaction with Iggy and her dad that I properly felt a little bit choked up on. I can't remember what it was. I think it was him. No, that was it. He said something like, it was my fault you left or something, and then you said no, it was my fault you left, or so there was this misunderstanding on both being like heartbroken that the other had left, and I was like, fuck, that's actually unbelievably sad.
Yeah.
Those were so hard. It's one thing coming up with this backstory, and I came up with this really grim one just because I saw the name Widow's Ravine on it. And then I remember coming into one of those episodes and I was kind of, if I was hungover or if I was sick or something, and I was kind of like a bit, well, whatever. And then it was like, oh, wait, shit, this is so hard, because you're suddenly thrown into like, and your mother, someone is coming up to you and saying, like, what is this grief? And it's, at the beginning, I remember finding it hard to even talk in a character voice, let alone like revise emotional things. So that whole section was really, really fun to do because it felt like very kind of challenging, but also I had a great time doing it. It was really fun.
Yeah, I think that's why it caught me, because you normally like Iggy's reactions are like kind of ditzy and silly, or you not being sure how to separate the player and the character, and then that was kind of like just a straight couple of minutes of just pure Iggy and like Ben straight being one character. So there was very little visually of Lucy and Ben in it. It was I remember that was a really heavy in a good way.
Yeah, no, it all just worked. Yeah, I remember thinking that was one of the things I thought. I was like, that was good, and it was just you two and how well you work together as well.
We have been informed by Lindsay and Ben in chat what Boy Blade came from, and it was our special episode with Tony Cantwell when he was playing Kinnicker Scraggs, the Were-Tiger. And I strapped an actual boy to my back to stop him running away and gave him blades for self-defense.
I hate that memories go, because I really was like, I can't. And as soon as you say it, it's like we're right back there.
Luckily, we've recorded it for posterity. So,
like when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, Tony Cantwell, one of my favorite comedians, was on 2 of our episodes. For a split second, I forgot that. I'm like, how did you forget that? You brain dead idiot.
I know, it's like, of course, the most funny thing is on the episode we have. The funny stuff. Yeah.
What was it at when he was like real quiet and chill the whole episode, and then we were talking to guards and we were trying to like pass as if we were doing nothing. And he said something like, oh, I hope you're not part of those like degenerates, the dirty bitch boys. And Tony was like, I'll fucking kill you. Shut your mouth about the dirty bitch boys. And blew our cover completely. It was so funny.
That's one of the other best moments is the one shot, because the first Paddy's Day one shot, and Ben getting to be a player. And being amazing.
Getting roaring drunk.
He played a stand-up comedian and wrote a whole set that his character could do. But also when we realized that you could like down drinks to reverse roles and just watch, I think, him go back and forth with Arlington and Keela and just like, I do it again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
that was pure chaos. That was our last in-person game as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I remember watching that at home because it was just when not to remember the pandemic, but it was when we had to like go home. We'd recorded it ahead of Paddy's Day. And yeah, I think that was our last in-person one. We just got absolutely fucking wrecked drunk.
Yeah, it's like
By far the drunkest I've ever been on the show.
It was great. I think I took a day off work the next day or something, or however it panned out. It was like, or we did it on the weekend. I can't remember. We did pre-record it anyway.
Very fun though.
Paddy's Day Volume 1.
Yeah, the Paddy's Day specials have been highlights, I have to say, and actually a lot of our one shots. I don't know, it's a bad thing to say about all of the main storyline and our quests, but it's because it's fresh, I guess, in a way, or you get to not play Huck, you get to not play whatever you've been doing for most of the time. The one shots just kind of a lot freer. So because
you've got the dynamics of players, like we all know how to play with each other at this stage with new characters, whereas like it's the freedom of trying something new with people how they play. Like not even just like you could play with people you've known for years, but you haven't played with them before, so it is a bit different.
And you get to try builds that are unfeasible for long-term play.
Oh yeah, I mean
that you need to get out of your system when you play enough D&D. You're like, I've always wanted to do this, and it's impractical.
I mean, case in point, Ben Clifford in every game I've seen him play as a player, that stand-up comedian character was a snail. His current game that he's playing on Penny Dragon Games is I think he's a pile of leaves. Is that what he's playing?
Again, he's doing the pile of leaves again.
Oh yeah.
Or no, yeah, that didn't work out actually.
Leaves blowing in the wind.
He's so weird. Like I genuinely appreciate it, but every time he's like, I see him in like a one shot or a side campaign or something, he's like, I'm playing the idea of jealousy. I'm like, what? How are you doing that?
Yeah, he does like to do his meta or very kind of crazy builds, which is fun. Because
one other question from Instagram, which is, this might be a shorter one, which is, in real life, what class would you play? Wait, is that the right term? Class?
Oh, yeah.
What class would you be?
Yeah. I'm now forgetting.
That's a good question.
Okay, no, class.
Paul,
So,
what's your answer for that, Paul? I don't think you're going in there.
I didn't get my favorite moment with the Phantom Slap, but now we will never be told.
Yeah, you should.
No, we're all done now. We're moving on.
You didn't exist when we were all mentioning our.
Sorry, I wasn't being as well behaved in doing the loop around. I'm not.
That was just funny.
It's a free for all. It's fast and loose.
Anyway,
no, I'm only messing.
Mention your favorite moment because it was good and I don't remember it.
Sorry, a correction. I knew I was getting that wrong. Ben isn't playing the pile of leaves blowing in the wind in this game. It's the tree trunk he's playing in this game. I don't think he's actually played the billowing pile of leaves yet. I think he's had that character, but I don't think he's played it yet.
He tried to.
You know what's good about having a tree trunk for a character? You can always walk around with a sprig in your step.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good.
The one thing he can't do, Keelan, is leaf.
Well,
I think a sprig in your step. I think that's top notch.
Okay.
just start talking, Paul.
So the Vla. So it's in episode the Vla. It's when you guys were all being chased by horses or by, I guess, vampires, or you were vampires.
We were vampires. I think we were getting chased by the village.
We were vampires and we were chasing horses.
Yeah. So like you were being chased by a mob, and one of them pulled up against you, and someone cast Mage Hand and slapped them across the face, which could, so that they fell off their horse, and Phantom Slap was built or was born that day. It's just one of my favorite things because it's the first time that it's weird. It's the first time in my D&D career that I've ever thought of using Mage Hand to just slap one in the face. That's it. Like literally just slap someone in the face.
Yeah, no damage, just pure insult.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah, because Ben was just like, it won't do any damage, and it's just like I believe that people were arguing that 5 pounds of pressure because it can carry 5 pounds, so it has at least 5 pounds of strength, would actually do a fair amount of damage to a normal human being. But it was enough to knock him off the horse, and Phantom Slap was born that day, which is one of my favorite moments. Also, the hag being named. That was also great.
Oh, Snake Dog.
Yeah, Snake Dog.
Everybody's surprised about the name of Snake Dog was just fantastic because
was perfect. It was the timing and the delivery was perfect. It's like, what's her name? And then Ben seeing the can and being like, I can't say this, can I? It's like her name is Snake Dog. Yeah. Like it's a question.
Yeah. It was great because it immediately
he was
playing a little
girl NPC. Yeah. So it's
little girl
Snake Dog,
and we named her Snake Dog because we were like, so she's evil, and then it turned out she was the hag. So who knows how the play went? But yeah, that was unfortunate. Unfortunate play from a hag to think that you could pass off being a little girl and call yourself Snake Dog.
Yeah.
Keelan, what class would you be in real life?
I was thinking about that, and it feels like it's the classes that I would have picked at the start of any particular session. I mean, in real life, why wouldn't you pick a magic class? Why like, because you get the game.
You die before level 2.
No, because it's real life. I've already not died before level 2. That's fine. I can be at least a level 3 wizard.
Keaton, it's not your leveling is not your age. You can be a level 1 adventurer at age 45.
You can, but I'm not. I have seen some shit, Wes, in my daily life. No, it would like, so for just the fact that you get magic beating everything else. But no, I think I'd be a monk, not for any spiritual reasons whatsoever. But I guess that would be key to it. In just good health, good resistance, good longevity. Basically, always able to do what you need to do. They're my favorite class, even though I'm not. I think they're the simplest class to start with as well. Don't need anything. Don't need clothes. Don't need a weapon. Don't need to remember any particular stats. You just get better.
If we take any quotes from this episode, it's going to be Keelan Flynn. Don't need clothes. That's the class I'll play.
Yeah, that's monks. So I think I'd pick a monk. I don't know. There's. I mean, I presume we're talking base classes because obviously you get into the crazy stuff that you can do.
I mean, for the sake of a debate, we're not going to hold you to. We're not going to,
Yeah.
Why limit your imagination? The show's called Homebrew.
True. Yeah. No, I'll stick with it. If I can come up with something else. I was going to say centaur, but that's not a class. I want to be a centaur warrior.
Want to be a centaurier? Okay.
Yeah. No, monk or magic caster. Seem like the most fun real life things to be.
Paul, what about you? What class would you be?
Yes, like if we're based it on my real life, I'd probably be an artificer. That is very much what I do in my day-to-day life. So that's probably it. That's boring. If I wanted to be, I'd probably try. Like, I would love to be a warlock.
Okay.
Like, just because
What about that warlock life appeals to you?
I don't know. It's such an interesting. I guess it's such an interesting kind of. Because your patron doesn't need to be a demon. It could just be any outside creature from your plane. So literally, if I can choose whatever patron, I just choose the most ridiculous thing and just be like the rabbit from Monty Python. That could be my patriot,
I thought you were going to say the rabbit from oh fuck, that Jake Gyllenhaal's first movie.
Oh right.
Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko,
oh,
yeah.
God, yeah.
The rabbit from Donnie Darko would be a good patron.
I mean, he's technically a puka, I think, or at least the illusion. The illusion is that he might be a puka. I think that's because he's in reference.
I mean, you can definitely get Fae patrons.
Yeah. Because there's Harvey, is what I think he's based on. Which is a phenomenal film. If anyone hasn't seen it, black and white. Don't let that get in the way. But Harvey is about a man and his invisible 6-foot rabbit friend, imaginary friend, who happens to be a puka as well. So just to bring it all back around. But yeah, Donnie Darko I think is based on that.
I'm trying to think of what class I play. I'm like, it's similarly to Paul. I think it's a boring answer, but barbarian probably suits me because I am quite chill and I'm not a violent person at all. But something will make me angry and I'll get like, I think it's much more of a male thing than a female thing. But something will suddenly make you angry and you will just lose all like coherent thought. Like if your laptop annoys you for a flash, you're like, smash the laptop. I'm like, no, it's because you can't remember your password. You're the idiot. Why would that help? That's going to make it much worse. And then it's just for a flash and then it's gone. You're like, no, don't smash your laptop. I'm like, obviously fucking don't. You degenerate. Like, I'm trying to think of another class that would suit a bit better.
I'm right there with you. I tried to take pizza off a damn tinfoil thing today for dinner, and I knew. And it's completely irrational. I don't know what it was. It was literally just not coming off the tinfoil as the way that I wanted it. And I was like, I need to walk away from this. And then I walked into the other room and I was just like, this is completely ridiculous. Like, I was getting so angry at a tinfoil and pizza.
Yeah. And it's almost always your own fault when you take a step back and you're like, if I'd just done this though, like as in I'll be trying to carry 30 fucking things and then I drop one of them and I smash it and be like, what the fuck, this is so stupid. I'm like, well, if you'd done 2 trips, you're going 10 feet, you have the time. Like, why did you try and carry it all at once, you fucking idiot? I think barbarian is unfortunately probably the best fit. I'm trying to think because I'm always like, I like to think things through and plan them out, but not to the point of like, wizardry or artificer or anything like that. I like to understand all the variables before I do something. So maybe mastermind rogue. I don't know. Barbarian's probably the best fit, to be honest. But realistically, I've chosen the wrong subclass. I don't think I'd be a totem barbarian. It'd be, is it berserker? Is that it? Berserker barbarian? Yeah, that probably fits a bit better. Lucy, what class would you play?
Mine's fairly boring as well. Like I think it's exactly as it is. I'd surely be a bard. I've basically created a bard that does things through art. I would definitely like to do something with spells and magic because I mean, we all want to be Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And,
obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. I take photos for a living, so I think bard would track into it. But I mean, as soon as you mentioned that about barbarian rage, of course, I feel like maybe everyone feels that flashes of something doesn't load and it's suddenly like this computer is the worst thing in the world. But yeah, no, I think probably boring answer for me, bard. I feel like.
I mean, there's a happy. I mean, you could multi-class into barbarian. I can see that being a good fit for you. Yeah, like very creative until you lose your temper.
Yeah. Or I like to think that if I was in this world, I'd be some kind of like sneaky rogue. So maybe a sneaky bardy rogue. But I think I'd just settle down somewhere.
Ignore the call to adventure.
I wouldn't have a class. Yeah, NPC. If I could go again, I'd pick NPC.
Yeah, well, I would definitely be an NPC, and I would run away from the danger and stay in the tavern.
Okay. So I've an idea. Okay, so this isn't on our list of questions. This unfortunately wasn't submitted, but I've just thought of it now. If you could be an NPC in the world of homebrew, and this is like to the point that you come on every 5 episodes to portray this NPC or whatever. Completely new, hasn't existed before. What kind of NPC would you be? So, Lucy, do you think you'd be with the person working in the tavern, or do you reckon you'd shift away from that?
I'd be some kind of like barmaid that somehow is doing such a bad job. Again, see, I'm making character based on myself because I got fired after months. But she's a barmaid. Maybe I did play this character in one of our one shots. Actually, it was like a barmaid.
You were a barmaid in one of them.
In the Vla, you were.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to maybe continue that. And she ends up working in lots of different pubs that they're in, and it's like oh yeah, I got the dimension door here too. So yeah.
So you want to be like the Nurse Joy, but the bartender.
Yes, I don't know who Nurse Joy is.
It's a Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon pull. It's the same nurse in every town. Forget. I thought that'd be unanimous. Okay, never mind.
Listen, Brock.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Paul, what kind of NPC would you be if you had to be locked in?
NPC? God, I would love to be I'd love to be one of the postmen from Leaf Gem.
Oh yeah,
because that seems like they're
and now out of work postman.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I think got to have fixed it by now, right?
I guess. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, that would be a fun little thing. Would be one of the postmen from Sleeve Jam, or Sleeve Jam would be fun. Just rolling around on those rails and stuff like that. Getting annoyed at some people who don't, who just ruin it. So that's where I just I'd be constantly chasing up the party for like I guess reparation. Like destruction.
So you want to be a small-time recurring villain?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. A villain that's in the right, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess
a deck collector.
Yeah. There you go. A bureau. Yeah.
It's picked a deck collector.
Yep. A representation of the postman's reparations department.
Keenan, what about you? What NPC would you be?
It's so difficult. About the only thing I'm certain of is that it'd be a halfling. But other than that, there were a lot of fun halflings. I mean, if it wasn't something that hadn't been, you said specified specifically, if it wasn't something that hadn't been in it before, I liked.
I mean, or do that.
Well, no, I liked Trip B, the 3 halflings in a trench coat. They were fun. They were fun to be. But no, there are other characters that I would be. But then it's an NPC, so you don't want it to be too big a deal. I would like to be.
We're talking small time here. Like you're not going to save the world with this character. No.
I want to be a a guy who's basically inventing a newspaper, as in he's just writing things down that he thinks are true. And he just goes around challenging people on the truth. He's incredibly annoying, and writing down what people say. He's a proto paladin as far as I'm concerned, but without the paladin class, he hasn't got any of that. He's just, he's picked up a magical item that gives him zone of truth, and he thinks that's it. Now I'm just going to ask people questions and write down what they say and put that on a piece of paper and give it to people. I don't know where he'd do that.
That sounds really cool. And he comes around and he's real nosy, like he's like kind of paparazzi in.
Yeah, he's really annoying. He just keeps, if he finds it, like the idea would be that there'd be something that's probably best not to tell everyone, like that the world's about to end because there's panic, and he'd be like, no, I tell everyone immediately. That's always what he does.
Right. We say it in a bar and he overhears it, and suddenly the next day it's out there.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Yeah, exactly. He's always he's just on broadcast. That's a character I've always intended to be, but I suspect he'd be too annoying for a long form game.
You're just playing Holden from The Expanse. Is that what you're?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's very. It's very.
I've seen enough episodes to get that.
Yeah, it's very much him. He's basically a paladin, in a sci-fi sense.
I also like that.
I think you were debating playing that character in the charity game yourself, and myself were playing Keelan, which I don't think there's a VOD of it. I think it was only live streamed there.
Yeah,
and I think we're debating playing him in that, but then you went with someone else, if I remember.
Yeah, I was a gnome investigator, which was really fun. A grizzled detective.
Yeah.
Thing.
You went proper film noir on it.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. A detective. Oh no, yeah. I've picked annoying man, so I will go with detective.
It's interesting. We're also now just giving Ben NPC ideas.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's gonna screw us by
for free. Like we wouldn't do it if you asked us.
Yeah,
like, you gotta pay for that.
You encounter a newspaper based saying what you guys are doing. You're like, oh crap, we've been talking out loud in front of the character I invented.
He's such a hack. God.
I hate. If I ended up getting annoyed at my own character because I know he's annoying, that'll be the worst.
That would be great. I would love to see that. I'd love to see just like I hate that I invented this character. I hate that Ben took him on, and now I hate that I've talked in front of him, and now a newspaper.
Yeah. That'll be the problem with this question, because the main reason I was going to be him was at least he'd be less annoying for me. He'd be annoying for everyone else.
What's the paper called? What's the called paper?
I don't know. Hear ye. Because they're still medieval times. He's basically a town crier who's not got a loud voice. He doesn't want to stop crying.
Turn on red. Is that anything? No.
Turn on red. No, that's good though. It's good.
Yeah.
Ben says the halfling observer in chat.
Yeah. I forgot he'd be a halfling.
For you?
I think he has to be a human. I don't think halflings can be annoying.
Brave pig.
Don't
go in the op-ed section, I think.
Yeah. If you want to not be an annoying character, be a halfling. If you ever.
Did I miss? Did you give your NPC?
I'm trying to think. So I initially liked the idea of being like a weird fucking wizard who lives at the top of a tower and then just basically gives quests to NPCs. I like it.
Yeah.
The idea, but I like the idea of being someone who is like not necessarily powerful enough to be, a hero, but like, I need you to go get fucking 5 spider webs and 6 crow's feet. And then you're like, well, you're clearly a very powerful guy. Why aren't you doing this? I'm like, I'm busy with experiments. Like, I like that idea.
At the end, that gets to like.
Yeah.
To wrap it up, like, oh, I see. Oh, you look a bit scruffy.
But now that I've kind of remembered that game that myself and Keelan played, I really liked the character I played in that, and I feel like he could work.
He was great, actually. Yeah.
He was a what's D&D's automaton people again?
He was a
Warforged.
Warforged, yeah. So he was this giant Warforged that was like a fighter monk, I think. But his voice was like this little kid, so he had the personality of a little child in this like war machine, terrifying body. He's like, "Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm 6 years old," and I just like the idea of that. But like, he thinks he's playing, but he's actually just ruining the place. So I like that. And he'd probably work as like a bouncer in a club and not understand there's people inside hugging. Like, I like the naivety of it. But no, I think realistically, I like to be a wizard NPC.
That's great. I mean, take this with you.
Yeah, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this halfling that I have.
That'd be a good thing.
Lindsay says she'd be the cabbage guy from The Last Airbender, which is an excellent pull.
Which I'd also like to point out is an excellent recurring character because in Korra he has a huge big cabbage industry, which is just amazing.
Oh, there's a statue, I think, as well at some point.
Yeah, it's an amazing callback to such a beloved small character.
We,
I really like there was a
we
suggestion by Isaac there for newspaper name as the Town Scryer.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
That's it. Like that's
Yeah.
got it. Debbie.
The Arcane Eye, I do like that one. I like that one as
No,
well.
it's very good, but you know, you need a joke. Yeah.
I have a question because I saw that Lucy was gearing up to ask one. I want to get in before.
No, I'm done. I'm all done. So
You're all done. Because I have one that I not that I didn't want to know the answers before, but I'm genuinely really curious to this. I like thought of it and I'm like, ooh, well, I like that. Pick one film or TV show and recast the lead as your character.
Done. But
Okay, Keelan, what do you got?
Not a film that it's just the easiest. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, okay, that works really well.
It's not what I want it to be, but it so immediately came to mind that that has to be.
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah. I've never been trying to play Pee-wee, but
no, but it fits. I can see him on the cover.
Yeah, on the motorcycle.
Lucy, going for Iggy?
I mean, my first thought is it's Gilmore Girls, and River is the beautiful mother. She's hotter and she's great. But I mean, I don't really know what else happens there. I'm not sure. This one I need to think a bit more.
I fully, even though you said Gilmore Girls, I fully pictured Golden Girls with like Betty White. I was like, okay.
No, I'm thinking more like the way Rory is, like Iggy's maybe a bit like that in the beginning, but like a bit useless, finds her feet a bit, sleeps with some married men. That's next to Iggy. No, I don't know. I really didn't think that through. I think that was just the first TV show that I could think of.
I just thought of one there for mine. I haven't actually seen it, but is it called Here Comes the Boom, the Kevin James one where he just becomes an MMA fighter?
Yeah.
I like the idea of like, big gut, out of shape guy gets a shape for an MMA fight and still doesn't look, svelte and in shape, but I don't know what the actual story of it is, but I think that would kind of work. I would be very into, he would gain the weight for it and do a Paul Grud Mall thug.
I like it because that's essentially a teacher who becomes an MMA fighter.
Teacher, that's
so
it.
Like that'd be really good if having Arlington as a with the glasses and everything. Well, class.
Okay, so chat has suggested. So Ben has suggested Arlington in any Brendan Fraser role, and Isaac has suggested Fraser. I don't know if you mean the TV show, but
he said Brendan Fraser as well.
Absolutely, Fraser.
All right.
Fraser would be good because it has that whole link to Beast from X-Men as well.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're right.
That'd be a really good one. Yeah, I also do.
Like that. That's good.
I like Randir as Rick from Casablanca. That is great. Especially
that is good.
Because he's constantly selling alcohol, and also represents like America.
I mean, it's a good call. I mean, he's iconic character.
Yeah. The thing that came to mind, the two movies that came to mind were Inspector Gadget. Or
the Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah. Or Gizmo from
Gremlins.
No, from Goonies. I think his name is.
That makes much more sense.
Yeah.
I wanted dearly to go for like Iron Man or something like that, but the character is so weird anyway. I can't really choose that. But yeah, I think Inspector Gadget or.
Do you know the film with Sarah Michelle Gellar? Buffy, and she's playing and she plays someone who finds her love in cooking, and she creates little chocolatey eclairs, and they are magic and make everyone like fall in love. I can picture Randir really doing this. It's his beer, he's creating beer, and it's a rom-com. This is where the Randy kicks in. Randy and Sue, he makes beer eclairs.
Yeah, I didn't think that with Sarah Sue. Yeah, that I could go for a romantic comedy. That's a great idea.
Replace Will Ferrell in Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more character thing. If your character falls over, hits their head, and wakes up and forgets their class, what new class are they? Now, it can be what you think makes the most sense or what would just be the most entertaining to see.
Is it what they think they are, or
What do you think as like a story weaver? Okay, tell you what, as an example, I like the idea of Arlington waking up and thinking he's a wizard because he just has these memories of his father casting spells, but he's like just far too clumsy to cast spells. Keeps forgetting the actual incantations. He's not good at it, and he's way too big to fit in any robe, so they always come up to like halfway up his forearm and his calves and stuff. I just like that visual of just this wizard that looks like he's constantly in the gym.
Nice. A dream.
I think Huck would be. I'm hoping he'd be on his way vitally to something when he gets hit in the head and forgets who he is, and then when he comes back, he thinks he's White Rabbit. And all he remembers is that he's late, so he continues to run on.
Your class is White Rabbit?
Yeah, that's what I think he's. Well, I don't think he. I think he might think he's a rabbit and continue to operate, not realizing that rabbits aren't like bipedal. I think he'd.
So weird to see. Side of this, like.
Just eating a carrot. What's up, Doc? You know. And then wild magic. Yeah, I do like the idea of whatever I was going to pick. That the wild magic would seep into whatever he was doing. Like he's just trying to be a rabbit. He's just trying to eat a carrot, and then like prestidigitates something, or a wild check comes in, and yeah. I reckon that's
what would Randir be if he hit his head?
God, I think he would just think he's a salesman. Like he has so much
class.
He'd get into marketing.
In constant dread. That's not a class.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's hard to change class.
I guess, yeah. I don't know what he would think he is. I think he'd probably, with all the weapons and stuff like that he does have, probably think he's a fighter.
That makes sense.
Or he could possibly think that he is a warlock and Keggy is his or a sorcerer and Keggy is his.
I mean, yeah, he's got the duster. So.
He's got also so many other creatures. He's got the Hobbs and Shaw now. There's plenty of familiars that he could think he's. For all I know, he could Pokemon trainer by now. With the amount of creatures he has. Yeah, warlock. I think he might wake up because he has magical powers and then he also has familiar.
Yeah, warlock works.
I actually think isn't it basically that's Huck's backstory. I ignored. So I would think I was a halfling. If I woke up, if I had been a puka and I woke up, I would think I was a halfling non-magic person, and I would go live my life. That is what I did. So,
Lucy, any thoughts on what class Iggy would be?
The scene I'm picturing is after a long night, staying up and painting tomatoes and apples in a sort of still life to kind of soothe before bed. She wakes up and she's hit her head. She doesn't know anything. She looks down. She's covered in red. She's covered in blood. Oh my God, what kind of monster is she? And she goes and lunges towards it's a bugbear. The bugbear goes, oh, what are you doing? Is not wanting to scare Iggy. And she thinks, oh my God, I'm so terrified. The bugbear's afraid of me, and runs into the field. And then just maybe turns into a fighter, barbarian.
Turns into a barbarian. Yeah.
That is great.
Like a werewolf.
Yeah. I was sort of like, oh my God, I must be so powerful. And it's actually probably then fueled by this really weird dark magic that she has. All just to be standing, man.
That works. Okay. I think we didn't take a break, so I think we'll probably do one more question and then we'll wrap it up. So are there any this was from Ben actually, which is all Ben's questions are just a way of him, like, he wanted to get a survey done to help refine his campaign by like tricking us into helping him, which is so selfish. Are there any loose threads or random events that you're excited to see tied up before the campaign ends?
That's
your job.
This is for
exactly. But I do think it's a good one, and I think it's a good one to close on. And I know it takes a little bit of thinking, so I'll go first because I thought of this ahead of reading it. I am excited to see what happens with the pirate fleet. I want to see. I'm basically predicting Fresh Prince of Kildare, like, coming from the horizon with like Ride of the Valkyries playing and this like fleet of pirate ships coming, her like standing on the bow. Like, I'm expecting some Deus Ex Machina with some pirate ships. But what I don't want to see is fucking Quail with her arm around the Fresh Prince, because Arlington is still in love with the Fresh Prince and he's very intimidated by that muscly monk. So So that's my that's the. I suppose it's not really a loose thread, I suppose, but I want to know what's going on with those pirates because. I mean, it was a Rian thing. We didn't get to tie it off properly, so I would like to see that all come to fruition as well. Also, eventually, the plan is, if he's up for it, to get Gav back on for at least one more episode. So that'd be nice to tie off his character stuff as well. But we'll see if the stars align.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a loose thread?
I would like to see what happens with the Hag investor.
Hag investor.
Yeah, Randir has partnered with one of the
Oh
Hags.
yeah.
I'd like to see what happens with that because I have knowingly given a Hag essentially a part of me, and I'd like to see what's gonna go. Like, am I gonna walk into the Cave-In Brewing Company in Sleeve Gem and there's gonna be like a secret office upstairs where there's just gonna be a Hag sitting on a big chair, and it's just now we're the mafia and we own your bar.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, you know.
I mean, combined with the fact that they were the worst people.
Yeah.
They were the absolute worst people.
That
and you're in
true.
debt to them now.
They were very, very annoying for a good one.
That was actually also a great bit.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
give props to Ben there. They were.
Yeah, as a player, they were great characters. As a character, they were the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Keelan, do you have one? A loose thread?
It's really tough. The first answer would be all of the loose ends of halfling lore that I've been scattering about the show.
So your own loose ends.
Yeah. That was the first thing that came to mind. Look, I'm trying to think of something else. I have been interested in what's his name, Bigfoot, because he was interesting.
Yeah.
He hasn't really looped back around, and despite actively avoiding and now committing to never going to the Fianna headquarters, I had always been really interested in exactly how the Fianna operate and headquarters.
It's such a lose-lose situation because we're all interested in the area. We all have things to gain from it, but like we've said no, and now we can't go. We've dug too deep.
And that's all my fault, or at least Huck's fault. You learn things about characters, and he doesn't like false accusations. It's twice it's happened, and both the times I felt inclined to fly off the handle. I'm going to blame Huck and not me.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's what this game is for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I would like to see how the Fianna, what becomes of them or how they work. I'm always interested in that particular thing.
Lindsay wants to know when Huck's dad is going to fight Rua.
That'd be great. It never even occurred to me. He's quite lazy, is he? I think
He's a walrus or something, right?
No, that was just my
was your teacher?
My minder/teacher.
Yes.
Played by Rian and Lucy. Rian and someone. Gavin, Lucy, or Rian the character and Lucy the person. Gavin and then Lucy. That was fun. I mean, it would be good to get to interactions there. But I don't see him doing anything personally.
So we've got to hook him in. We got to get all the parents in.
Yeah.
Parental Royal Rumble. Oh my god,
it'd be so great. My dad can beat your mum isn't exactly normally how it would go, but
I hope that my mum can't beat your dad. Yeah.
I hope.
I mean, listen, my dad's a sorcerer. We can dig up Randir's parents. I presume they're buried in that cave-in.
Too soon.
He's hundreds of years old. Lucy, any ideas on loose threads you want to see tied off?
Loose thread that actually I guess it's probably, maybe it'll come back in a one shot, but I love those vampires that we brought back from
Yeah.
That
the like quotation foreign guys.
Yeah. Like
from no specific area.
There was probably, Ben had basically given me this you can just do whatever spells you want, and then I stole their what's it called, the thing that you can go between planes or whatever, this transporty bob. And then I was I wrote a spell. I probably could have tried to use it. Anyway, instead we just let them come with us.
Well, they said they'd help us out, so yeah.
They said they'd cast a spell, and we're like, well, we can cast a spell, and they're like, oh, well then.
But what I actually want to know is, and I'm guessing we will find out, is what the fuck was going on with the day and the night thing, and roads being, I don't know, I just can't wait. Ben has put you know what, actually going back, Ben used to do those vignettes at the beginning that were a woman as a baby.
Yeah. There's all the loose ends.
With a knife.
Actually, all of that stuff, all those loose ends.
So just a baby.
And they were purposefully non-linear. They were purposefully not what was happening at this moment in time. They were like flashes. So actually, when we eventually find it all out and we can go back, they should be all things that are true.
But I agree. I changed my answer to Ben actually looping back all of the stuff he said at the start as well in those vignettes. That's
let's tie
absolutely what I was saying. Yeah.
I have one that's not from the main campaign, but it is a one shot. Your character was going that one shot character who went through the portal right at the end.
Oh, was that mine?
Oh, it was both of
my
yours.
one shot, but it was
our characters.
Yeah,
my character. Yeah, my character.
Your character went through, and Rian's character didn't.
Yeah, because he was really annoying. That was really fun actually.
You went from Brazil to Hibernia. Yeah, so your character is your monk. I think he was a monk, right?
I think he was a goblin. He might have been a monk. Yeah, I like monks. So probably he was tall and thin and grey. Wasn't that the tall and thin? Yeah. He was Vice. He was a rat.
Was that my first one shot? I think it was.
Yeah, I think that was our first one shot. It was because it was our first. That was our first like off form thing.
It worked out well, I think, but it was also it could have gone so badly because I literally had very little prepared. I'm like, I'll let the lads develop their characters on stream.
Yeah, well, that was really fun actually. Yeah, and Gav,
but it could have gone very badly.
Yeah. Luckily, Gav was playing a great job as essentially Captain Flashheart or whatever.
That's a good pull, Paul. I'd be interested to see that now.
Yeah, I just thought that because it was because it's been interesting as a tech watching most of your stuff. So there's a couple of things. I actually realized one of my favorite moments actually was when Rian revealed that he isn't French and he's from the north. That was a great reveal, but I won't go back and see.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay. Well, I think we've wasted enough people's time. This was fun. Well, probably. I mean, it's good to know we have this kind of thing as a short form alternative if we don't have a full cast. Because if Ben fell ill, unfortunately, quite close to air date, and no one had time to write anything. Yeah, he's such a drama queen. He's been very active in chat as well, which is very sweet. He should be sleeping. He's so sick.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, that's gonna be us. We won't be back in 2 weeks. We'll figure out something maybe to stick up, but I think we'll probably end up skipping June 7th. I think it is.
Yeah.
But we'll let you guys know in the Discord and on Twitter and stuff if we end up putting something up. But it most likely will be a rest week. We'll be back with something else special 2 weeks after that.
The 21st.
Don't forget you can donate to our coffee account if you want to help aid in the removal of direct provision. You can use our discount code HBQUEST, HBQUEST, for 10% off on Dakota Irish, who are proudly powering the homebrew machine. Thank you so much for all your questions. Really, really appreciate it. We've got a fun little community going on now on Discord. If you guys want to check it out, it's pinned to the top of our Twitter account. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already. We're also a podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms. I think that's it. Am I missing anything? Wait.
The codes for Dakota Irish?
The code is HB Quest.
Okay.
But also, Paul, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you more regularly?
We don't.
Don't sound disappointed.
No, it wasn't that. It was just like I was so geared up to press a button to finish the thing that when you were just like, "Oh, Paul, what about this thing?" I'm on. I have control. I'm on Heroes House, which is a YouTube channel which is on the entertainment industry, or commentary on the entertainment industry, TV and films. Kind of thing. This week we are doing, we're ranking the Marvel TV shows, because with Moon Knight finishing up, we have essentially, I think, 6 different shows to kind of talk about, and with the announcement of She-Hulk coming out, ranking before we watch this one. Yeah, it should be fun.
Nice.
But yeah. So Heroes House on YouTube. You can catch us every Thursday, 8 p.m. Irish time, or on our massive video backlog. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers, so help us out.
Yeah. Help out Heroes out. Nice. Great. Okay, that's going to do us for this week. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. And we will see you very soon. Bye bye. You can press the button now, Paul.
Yay! Bye. I'm not gonna press it now. Oh yeah. Bye.